Coming up, newly released video by the Pentagon shows a Chinese military jet coming within 400 feet of a U.S. Air Force warplane. How the U.S. is reacting to the close encounter. And 3 Marines were beaten in the streets of Southern California, the incident caught on camera, and the investigation leading to multiple arrests. The rundown starts now. This is Straight Arrow News, bringing you unbiased, straight facts. Thanks for joining us. I'm Kara Rucker. We're getting our first look at a close encounter between a Chinese military jet and a U.S. spy plane, something the U.S. is calling an unnecessarily aggressive maneuver by China. The Pentagon released this video showing a Chinese J-16 fighter jet cutting directly in front of the nose of a U.S. Air Force plane coming within 400 feet. Because of its close proximity, the U.S. aircraft was rocked from turbulence. The U.S. military says the spy plane had the right to be where it was at, flying in international airspace over the South China Sea, conducting safe and routine operations, according to the U.S. military. China's foreign ministry fired back this morning, accusing the U.S. of posing a serious danger and urged the U.S. to stop provoking China. The intercept comes as tensions between the two countries are elevated. The U.S. trying to arrange a visit between high-profile personnel from both countries to ease tensions, but this week China reportedly rejected such a meeting. North Korea attempted to launch its first ever spy satellite into orbit, which would have focused on monitoring U.S. military activities. But the launch ended in failure, sending it into the sea and some of it recovered by South Korea. Today's launch was the North's first since 2016. The United States, South Korea, and Japan have strongly condemned North Korea for its plans to launch a spy satellite, but the North is undeterred, promising another launch to come. A brawl caught on camera over the Memorial Day weekend captures the moments 3 Marines were beaten by a crowd of people near a beach in Southern California. So far, authorities have arrested 9 juveniles in connection with the assault of the Marines. Video footage shows 2 of the men on the ground trying to protect themselves as they get punched and kicked in the midst of the frenzy. According to the video footage, which is now part of the investigation, a Marine is seen walking away from the crowd until he gets punched, then charges the attacker, sparking the brawl. More arrests could be made as the investigation is still ongoing.
This is considered an assault with a deadly weapon because of the amount of suspects that we are investigating. The weapons that were used were their feet while these victims were on the ground. So regardless if the victims choose prosecution or choose medical attention, the Sheriff's Department is going to investigate this to the fullest and try to determine who the suspects are.
There are 5 days left for Congress to come to an agreement over the nation's debt limit to avoid a default. Today, a crucial vote is expected in the House on a bipartisan bill the House Speaker and President have put forward. Lawmakers will likely vote on amendments to the bill before a final vote, which is expected sometime later this evening. But on the day the new Republican-controlled House will face its first major vote, a growing number of them say they'll oppose the bill, saying the last-minute bill doesn't go far enough to rein in federal spending.
Other than the $12 billion cut on non-defense discretionary spending, there's no other real major adjustments here. CBO just came out and said that actually with the new exemptions, the SNAP program is going to be bigger. So I'm trying to figure out exactly what conservatives should be happy about.
The bill currently extends the debt limit through 2025 in exchange for cuts to IRS funding, tighter restrictions on government programs like food stamps, and energy permitting reform. If the House is able to pass the bill, the Senate will take up the bill as quickly as possible and potentially vote on it on Friday. Lawmakers have until Monday to avoid the default. Minnesota is now the 23rd state to legalize recreational marijuana. The state's Democratic Governor Tim Walz signed a bill yesterday that will allow adults 21 and older to possess marijuana, create a regulatory framework for cannabis retailers and manufacturers, and expunge low-level marijuana offenses. The new law takes effect on August 1st. Nevada's newly and closely elected Republican Governor Joe Lombardo has just signed a bill to enshrine abortion rights in the state. This is only the third time a Republican governor has moved to protect abortion access. Lombardo himself is pro-life, citing his Catholic faith. The governor has signed off on legislation that codifies an existing executive order that bars the prosecution of abortion patients who travel to Nevada for the procedure. Lombardo said on the campaign trail he would respect the will of voters who codified abortion rights up to 24 weeks in a 1990 referendum vote. Lombardo was the only Republican to defeat a state Democratic incumbent in the last election. These are your top stories. Thanks for joining us for the rundown. We're on a mission to bring back trustworthy journalism by serving only you, not an agenda. Be sure to check out more of our work at straightarrownews.com. And you can also find the latest rundown episodes available as a podcast on all major podcast platforms. We'll see you back here tomorrow. Until then, I'm Kara Rucker. Have a great day.